I'm going to have a link below the video where you can try this. It's for dynamic prompt. You can create hundreds of images in one click. We're going to go ahead and open the folder up, and we're going to pay attention on these three right here that we're going to open up side by side, these HTML files, and I'll go over a few of these other ones, not all of them, that you can try. Got the Laura training, we'll get into that later, and some of the other stuff. But let's go ahead and let's get started. So basically we're going to run these side by side, which will be this one here, and this one here, and this one here. We're going to start with this one. Anytime that you load a new one, just refresh the page and then load your file. This has got 8 categories in there, so we're going to just select here, and I'm just going to choose the one main multiple colors, and we're going to load it, and we're going to press OK. Now it's set to 2 right here. As you can see, some of these boxes are enabled and some of them are disabled. Now if you go to the include clothing, when I click the fabric, it unchecks the other one. You don't want to run both these together at the same time anyway. Also notice right here in the list, if I scroll down, we got fabric expression to the top. Now if I uncheck that, it's going to hide that category, then it's going to go to the pose where I can see that one. So whatever's unchecked, it gets hidden. So let's get started. So basically I would probably want to use the facial, the pose, hairstyle, and clothing. I don't care too much for the lighting, and I don't very seldom use the lower body, but we'll just keep that at that. So we got it set to 2. So if we look at the clothing right here, it says black cotton. Then down here it says violet. If we choose randomize, it all changes. Okay. The clothing went to graphics. Then it went to a brick red mesh. Even if you move the slider back and forth and go back to 2, it automatically changes. Okay. And when I get a lot in here, the only time that I would use random, because this will do 100 of them, I like to see the top 2 that I'm doing to be kind of perfect, so I can give you a visual effect. See, if I didn't like that one, I would press random size like that instead of moving the slider back and forth. So we'll just go ahead and select who I like, the clothing that I like, and that looks good enough. We're going to copy to the clipboard and press OK, and we're going to come over here, and I already got one in here. So basically the first thing that you want to put in here is either your trigger word or describe what the person is. Most of these scripts are made for women, so I'm going to click here, press so it's down the line, and we're going to Control V to paste this. Alright, remember this was set to 2 right here. So if we go back in here and go to the dynamic prompt, see where my cursor's at, it's going to create 2 different prompts. Keep in mind where the curly brace is at the beginning and the curly brace at the end. Alright, you do not edit anything in between there. Before it you can, like a woman, or we can come down here and let's say we wanted to do the word, let's put 8K for instance. So if we go to dynamic prompt, you can see all the endings and then 8K. So that's if you decide that you want to change it. And I'm going to have to be pausing the video as I'm doing this because it's going to slow everything down. So basically it's set to 2 right now, and it really needs to be set to 1. So example, if I got it set to 1 and I press invoke, you'll see it's going to generate 2 separate ones. We're going to cancel that out. Press clear. Now if I have that set to 2 and press invoke, it's going to go to 4. This is kind of very important to notice, because when you have 100 in here and you decide to go 2, you're going to get 200. So be very careful. So basically it's keep it to 1. That's plenty enough right there. So we're going to generate right here at 1, and it's going slowly. So it's going to do these right here. Okay. So let me pause the video until it finishes. And when we're finished, we can come up here. If we look at the dynamic prompt right here, her clothing was the purple mesh on the top of the beige jogger. Okay, remember that. If we come over here and see the info, it'll show the same thing. So it's hit and miss sometimes on the first one or the second one, but eventually it'll work its way out. And before I get, anytime that you use this, and we're going to be using it in certain things and layers and stuff, always make sure the seed is off. No matter what you do, make sure that seed is off. Okay, we're going to move over a script right here, and you can see we got fabric. You want to keep an eye on the fabric name and scenery. So whatever you use, if it's fabric here, we need to turn it off when we generate. I'll show you an example. Same way with scenery. So let's just do scenery. If you want them in order, I'm going to go ahead and clear my history here. If you don't want to, if you don't want to do them one at a time, what you'll do is you'll let's say click bridal shower. You'll see a little check mark up on the right here, and we'll select beach club. Check mark says it's copied to the clipboard. Then athletics club, copied to the clipboard. So when we bring that back up, they're in order. They're kind of like, if you do them backwards, they'll be right way in order. So remember, we were using the scenery. So if we go back over to here, what we want to do is turn off the scenery now. Okay, so we'll just randomly select something right here. We'll turn off the scenery, and we'll just copy to the clipboard, come back over here. Notice I had 8K, but I had a space in there, so make sure you put that space in there. And then we're going to go ahead and paste that in here. Okay, so then we're going to get something like this. Now when I bring up this, since I don't have a scenery, we can put a scenery in it right here. I'll get rid of the comma right here, and we'll bring that up. And all my scenery is going to be athletics club. So if we open this up in dynamic prompt, you can see through all these right here. Athletics club. Okay, and let's see what happens. You can see right here on both of these, athletics club. So I'm going to generate and pause the video. Okay, then we got something like this. Notice that we got one that didn't have no athletics club on it, and this one did. I have I have a lot of stuff in this, and I'll only be able to test a few things, so you may have to correct that. So we'll use this as in a sentence. So we had a comma right here. A 31-year younger woman in a athletics club. Then we'll put a comma at the end to stop it right there. Make it more of a sentence. Maybe it'll hit a little bit better. So we'll do that again. It's usually hit and miss on the first two. It's usually hit and miss. It eventually works its way out. And now you can see by changing it up, instead of hit and missing like this one here and this one here. Remember I said it will work its way out. What I meant by that is you might get a miss here, then all of a sudden you'll get one like this. And what I mean about work your way out, then most of them will be with the gym in the background. To ensure it, like I said, make it into the sentence. Now we got this one here with an athletic club and this one here. So this kind of ensures me that that's going to be working properly. Also notice, before I forget, I am using a LoRa. Okay, if you start using too much down here, it will cause an issue. Alright, my advance here, I'm using 30 steps, guidance 4. Alright, another thing will mess it up if you start adding too much stuff to this top line. Bottom line here, if you want to do 8K with a bunch of other stuff, ultra HD or cinematic or whatever, that's not a big difference. But when you start adding too much up here, it could cause a problem on the top line. So keep it limited up here. And like I said, when we go back over here, if you're using the scenery right here, make sure you uncheck the scenery here. If you're using the fabric here, make sure that fabric's unchecked here. This is going to be a little overwhelming here. They're in alphabetical order, and eventually you might like this and you might not like this. So I added another script called for the professional button grid, and then you can make your own, and then you don't have to bother with this script at all. Just find out what you like, and remember we figured out what fix this in a athletics club. So we'll put it right here. So we'll go back over here, and we're going to name it, give it a name and press edit. I'm going to go ahead and, I'm not pasting in the complete prompt, I'm just, since it's already there, I'll just go ahead and re-erase this. So the name of the button is going to be Athletics Club. Make sure you don't press cancel, press save. Now we need to do one more thing. We need to go to the edit here. What I like to do is use the comma at the beginning, and then we'll paste that here. Then we'll press save. Now make sure when you do all this to save your custom settings. It'll go to your download folder, because if not, and you clear your data, your history, these buttons will go back to default and you will lose everything. So just to show you that I got something, I will clear out my clipboard here to show you, and we'll clear this out. There's nothing there. So every time that I select Athletics Club, it's the check mark, and we'll paste it here. Then we got that there. So when we come back over here, and let's say this was just we just had that and we wanted to change it, then all we'd have to do is just paste this over here. Now we got our own custom buttons over here. We ain't got a jack with this if you don't like it, okay? I'm sure you'll probably like this a lot better. I gave you plenty of buttons, but if you want to use it, that's fine. Okay, we're going to go back over here, and one of the files, remember I said when you change something it's best to refresh. I normally like to do it like that. And I got this one here called LoRa training. Okay, if you got an image that you're doing and it's not quite perfect, you can create some images of types of variation and use these images, and you can retrain it. Okay, it's like fine-tuning. Alright, I want to load this up, and I don't like to use that one, and these are the ones I basically like to use. So when I select it and go up to 100, and like I said, the only time that I do random size is I like to see what the first two look like actually. The rest of them, I'm not going to go through the whole list and look through them. So I like to just kind of like go through here to find out what I like. So I know what the first two looks like, you know. So I did 100 of these, so I copied it to the clipboard like this. Alright, I got scenery included. So we're gonna remove all this right here, okay, right here. We're gonna put a comma, and then we're gonna press enter to drop it down line, and we're gonna paste this. Alright, when we open this up, you can see it's got 100 lines, or pretty close to it. Well, this one does have 100 lines. Most of them might be off by one or two, but typically it's pretty point on. And like I said, be very careful with this, because if you press 1, which I would recommend, you're going to get 100 of them. We press cancel, and I move this to 2. Now up here it says you're going to get 400 of them. Okay, so be very careful. And you can really you can get quite a bit. So I mean, there's 500 of them. Okay, now you might want to do this if you're you got a lot of storage and you got some good computer specs. 500 and you walk away and go somewhere for a while, it might shut down your computer, so be aware of that. It's in the readme text, okay? And we're going to the next step. I mistakenly said, I think, the wrong number for number 2. I'm not sure what I said, but anyway, some of the stuff you got to excuse me. Basically what this LoRa training does is it's just going to give you all kinds of variations and everything. So then you know, if you got a bad LoRa and you want to kind of fine tune it a little bit, it's going to give you 100 of them images, all different. You want all different, you know, background and scenery and everything, and then you can go ahead and retrain it. Okay. So that's kind of how that LoRa for the LoRa training does. And basically that's all it's designed for. Alright, here's another thing that you can do with it. Let's say I'll go ahead and right click this and new from canvas. You can choose as raster layer or resize. They're all the same size. It don't matter when you choose. I always like to choose resize anyway. The sweet spot is 0.75, and then here in a little bit, if things don't start changing, I'll show you like they should. You'll need to bump that up, and make sure when you get done completely with the script is to delete this layer, because you'll find out later on something's just not working right. And you look over and you got one layer in there, so make sure that you, when you're done with this part, make sure that you delete that. So let's close all this up. And this is going to be unlike, I don't want to get in too much detail, where you can, let me close this back up, where you got this option where you can send it over here to the canvas or to the gallery. You can do that. I don't like to do that. I like to keep everything where it's at. So with that said, Alright, what do I want to do? Okay, I want to change the clothes. So I need to find something very similar or use the same category that I've been using to make sure everything changes, because if I'm using something, let's say a script that's got a lot of let's say a dress or a any kind of dress or anything that's one piece that's long, or something vice versa than what you see in this image. You can see it's kind of like a sportswear, and I believe the one I was using for this one was the multiple color, so we'll try to stay in that same one. Alright, what do I want to change? I want to change the clothes, okay? We're going to turn the scenery off. We're going to turn the light off, and you can include the pulse will be off for this, and you can use any of these three right here, the facial expression and some of these right here. This looks like a good one right here, so we'll choose random size here. Alright, and let's go ahead and just give this to number 3. Oh, that's good enough. So we're going to go ahead and hit the enter key, bring that down, paste that in here. And if we look, we're going to have 3 separate images, okay? And hopefully these clothes will change. You'll get the shift on the first one a little bit, then the rest will be all pretty uniform. I mean, like the pose and stuff might move just a little bit. Then we get something like this. Remember, this is what we started with, and we wanted to change the clothes. Okay? Then we got this one. And we got this one, and we got this one. Alright, if it's not following the prompt as you want, you would definitely have to come over here and bump this up a little bit. Okay, if we wanted to have this women right here wearing sunglasses, and we'll use the comma, and press here. Then we get something like this. They're all wearing glasses. Okay, now let's say, you know what, I kind of like that one here without the sunglasses. I like the clothes. I would like to, you know, I want to kind of keep this style here. And what I'm going to do is this little icon on up here, it says use all. When I press this, it's going to remove everything with the brackets on there. So if you like these brackets and you want to save them for later, you better copy them now, because you're going to lose them. So if I go ahead and press this and use all, make sure what you do, because it will use the same seed, is to turn that off, okay? And we got it to 1, so guess what? A dynamic prompt, it's only going to do it to 1. I want to do a variation of, let's say, 3 of them, okay? And we'll generate again. Then you get something like this. Notice it has the scenery in the background. It's keeping it from this one here. So it's because the layer was on. Now if I was to turn the layer off, we can, like I said, delete it when you're done, but I'll just go ahead and just, you can turn it off like here, or we can just exit it. I'll just remove it. Now when I generate 3 more, since the description did not have a scenery in there, more than likely a good chance there won't be any scenery because the scenery was unchecked. So just to keep in mind, if you want to do a couple of them, we'll do it like that. Then we get something like this. You can see you got part of the background. The background and the scenery are basically the same thing, but you can see here the scenery and background got removed. Notice all the tops, you know, are kind of black, unlike these other ones here. Alright, sometimes you gotta take the good with the bad, alright? But you can see it's consistent, you know, it's like all black here, and you gotta kind of play with it, you know. See, these are got different colors to all 3 of these. 1, 2, 3, very similar, and these all here are similar. Okay, we'll go over the next step here. We're going to go back over here, refresh the page, and if we look, we got all bottoms here, all tops here. Basically this works with layers like I've had before. So if I press this and load these, it's gonna do all the fabric for, you know, all the top clothing. Okay, so that's kind of how that works. So if you wasn't doing it with layers, okay, like over here, more than likely, okay, since it was the bottom or the top of the clothes, it's going to do all the tops, okay, or vice versa. If I was to load all the bottoms, which one did I have? I forgot. Let's see. Alright, let's try this again. Okay, I have all the tops here. And I have all the bottoms here. Okay, like I said, this works with layers. If you don't use it with layers, it's only describing the top or the bottom, you may come up with NSFW. So beware of that. Also, some of these scripts in here are, you can try them, and there's some in here I have marked that you can recognize by the name. I can't go over it here in the video, okay, that you can try, okay, so we'll keep that simple. Some are for not safe for work, but I'm not going to get into that detail. Okay, I'm going to show you how you can make your own, okay? We got things, we got 2 here, ask chat template, then another one that says how to ask, okay? Ask chat template. You copy this, Control A, alright. Then we're going to use Grok, okay? I'm using it and it didn't cost me nothing, alright? And I'm having a little problem with ChatGPT. It does not like to give out a lot of text. And there's a total of about 800 lines of code. So when you do this, I would prefer you to use Grok, okay? It's, like I said, it don't cost me nothing to use this. We're going to paste this in here. And we're going to click, and we're going to scroll down to it, replies, and it's going to ask you a few questions. You can read them, okay? And we got this one here, how to ask. You ain't got to read through this whole thing, but you can ask it 2 different ways. I like to use as a sentence, okay, right here. There's 2 examples. This is how you would do it as a sentence. Okay, so all you got to do, you know, you can reword it, you can change things up, but this is basic how you would ask it. So we'd copy this here. Alright, let's close this down. And we'll open up the browser. And we're going to paste this. Put anything in here that you like. I want to be specific. I want to make sure these clothing are for a woman also. Okay, and that's how they were designed. I'd never seen a man in lingerie before, but here we go. And this is it's pretty quick, and you're going to start getting a bunch of code. Okay, while that's proceeding, in the readme text, I've got these links that you can go to. One for the grok and one for the count line. Okay, they'll be there so you can see it. So when this is finished, you'll see that it said it gave me 10 of them. Okay, I may have skipped myself here. The first time it's going to ask you, it's going to give you 10 of them. Okay, it's not going to give you the full 100 description per category. This lets you go over and just to check to make sure everything is correct like you want it, you know. If you see something off, you tell it, you know, say, hey, I don't like the way you got too many of these words in here, they're conflicting. Let's say I'm happy with it. Okay, so all you got to do is go over here, and we're going to go copy this, expand this to 100. Okay, I may have got to jump at the gun here. I forgot about the examples here. That way you can kind of see before it gives you the whole thing. So we're going to go ahead and expand this to 100. That's 100 per category. And this is a lot of text. This is going to be around 800 lines of code. And that's where this is going to come in handy to let me know if it's near 800. You can go a little under, a little over, somewhere approximate. Alright, that way you know if it's way off and you got like 300 or 1600, there's something wrong. So you got to figure it out. So we're going to let it finish up. This is quite a long list. I can't get ChatGPT to do this, but Grok seems to be okay with it. So bear with me here. It won't take much longer. And I'll pause the video for a second. Now that it's done, it said expand it to 800 per category, total of 800 unique lines. So let's go check that 800. Like I said, it's got to be somewhere near. It can be a little off. So we're going to copy with the copy button. We're going to double check that over here. And we're going to paste that here. And we'll press count line. 798, pretty close, okay? It could be a lot smaller than that or a lot larger. So you would save this in a text file. Then when you get ready to use it, you would refresh this page here, and you would load it, your new the new theme that you got. Then you could load it through here. But make sure it's got to have all these 8 settings, and they're separated by 1 space per line. Okay, you'll know if it works or not. So just save it to a text, and when you save it wherever you want to save it, and give it a name, and you can load it. You can make your own custom ones, and that's 800 lines of code, 100 per category. That's a lot of text, and that's a lot of random images. Here's some other things that you can do with it. We'll go over here and we'll just choose one of these here. Some of these other ones you can just play with it. They're just something you can mess around with. What I like doing is, like I said, I don't care for the lighting. The rest of them are okay. What I'd like to do is maybe give it around 50 or so 49 is great. And choose the top two that I think I want to see how the first two are coming out. Find something I like, press copy. Now I got 50 of them. We'll go back over here. And what I'll do is I'll paste this in here. And it gave me, oh yeah, I did 49, I think. Yeah, let's see. 49. Yep, 49, it matched. Okay, what I like to do is, I like to set this down to 1. And what I'll do is, I'll press invoke, okay? So when it creates the first one, what I like to do is I like to come up here. Let's go all the way to the top. While it's generating there, I might change this, her age to 51, okay? So after it starts generating at 31, then you'll press like 51. I'll just show you, okay? We'll just do 31. So I'll do 31, and we're going to get 49 of them. So what I'll do is press here, or 49 here, then I'll do, let's say, change her age, see what she looks at 51, while it's generating, and it's going to double it up, okay? And I'll usually like to do this like if I'm going to be away for a while, because this may take a little time. Another thing I like to do is basically the same thing, but I like to come down to my Laura's, and I'll have 2 different ones of them, okay? I'll have one off and one on, okay? Let's say this one was, I'm not going to load both. Okay, I got one on, I generate it, alright, then I'm at 49 prompts, then I'll turn this off and turn the other one on, then generate it, then I can get like 2 different faces. And I'm just using 50 examples per each, because 100 of them is quite a bit. And like I said, you can generate tons of these. And if you like the video, all I ask is a thumbs up. I'm not asking anybody to subscribe, just to see if you like the script. And like I said, you can use Grok. You just got to sign up. Right now at this time, I'm using it for free, but I just had to sign up. And I'm just going over a few things that you can do with it, and there's plenty more that you can do with it. So anyway, I think I'm finished on this part. I don't want to get too full of details because the video is getting quite long. But anyway, thank you very much.